what I thought I saw happen. I saw a lot of people who had their own idea of what they should say. They were using that half of the communication formula, but they weren't worrying about what the other people were saying. Which brings me to the title of my speech, Leaders, Listen. And if you don't listen, you're at risk. Today I'm going to share with you 3 different ideas of what it is that makes listening a powerful thing for a leader to do. First of all, when you listen to somebody, you humanize them. You make them a person instead of a 2-dimensional opponent. It lets you grow your work of learning how to work with them or to overcome them. Secondly, when you listen to people, you let them tell you how to sell them on your ideas. And the third thing is, when you listen to people, you turn the problem from you against them to you and them against the problem. These are powerful concepts. Let me go through them. First of all, enemies or opponents are not 2-dimensional. It's not like, Wile E. Coyote, who has no function in life except to get blown up, smacked, or thrown off a cliff. That's an enemy. That's a demon. When you listen to somebody, and I mean really listen to them, you hear dimension, you hear depth, you hear why they are the person they are. Now, you may still disagree with what they say vehemently, but when you listen to them, you understand a little bit better why they're saying it, and that gives you the tools to engage in a constructive way. Leaders, listen. The second aspect is almost as important. I teach a leadership course, and in this leadership course, I teach people that leaders are salespeople. You must, as a leader, get people to buy the ideas that you are putting forward, to buy the solutions you're putting forward. If you're a team leader, you need to draw your team into a solution. And if you really listen to people, I tell salespeople in sales training, if you listen to people, they will tell you how to sell them. They will tell you what it is that they want, how they want to get it, where they want to get it, who they want to get it from. And once you understand what they want, you can figure out how you can help them get what they want. And if you can show somebody how they can get what they want, they'll buy. Well, as a leader, that's true. If you can show your opponent how they can achieve some of their objectives by following your plan, they become less of an opponent and more of a collaborator. And that brings me to the third point that I would like to make. And this is the most important one. And that is, when you really listen to someone, you draw them into your solution. Now that sounds funny. How can you draw them into your solution? By listening to them. But when you listen to somebody and you understand very clearly what their perspective is, you can start to understand not just the points that they're making, but the assumptions behind the points. And when you understand the assumptions behind the points, you can start to expose to them some of your assumptions because they start to become clear as well. And when you have done that, it turns the problem from you versus them to you and them against the problem. Now let me take you back to the debate a few weeks ago. I watched Stephen Harper and Michael Ignatieff talking at each other very, very coherently. They both made very, very solid presentations of their point. Stephen Harper was making his point about how you want to have a solid proposal, you want to have a good economic recovery, you've got to have a tried and true path, and we're sticking to it, and this is not a time for change. And Michael Ignatieff was hammering at this idea that the evil Stephen Harper was trying to take demonic powers over the rest of the world and make us into a totalitarian regime. He didn't quite say those words, but that was kind of the message. And they were at each other like this. And there's Jack Layton in the middle listening. Jack Layton drew from both of their arguments and presented them as, we can have solutions here. we can make some things come together. We can together, we can work some solutions up. And he wasn't talking to either of them. He was talking to the camera. He was talking to us. Well, the other day we saw the results of that. A lot of people who saw in Gilles Duceppe, who I haven't mentioned at all because he's irrelevant anyway, but they saw in Gilles Duceppe nothing but rabid nationalism for Quebec and no consideration for the values of his voters. They saw a two-dimensional person, and in Jack Layton they saw a three-dimensional opportunity. And the voters of Quebec, whether they remain separatists or not, saw that their better interests were served by a person who's looking for solutions. So let me bring this back together. If you want to learn more about this, by the way, I'm going to be teaching a workshop on it at the end of, or in the middle of June, called Leaders Listen. But you will hear these same 3 points revitalized at that point. Humanize, don't demonize. Let them tell you how you can sell and turn me against you into you and me against the problem. Whether you come to a workshop or not, you can put those 3 into action today.